Hey, what's up everybody, Rivera94 here, bringing you another action figure review, and this time we're going to take a look at the Iron Man 3 Comicave Studios 1/12 scale collectible figure of Igor, Mark 38. Very cool. This is my first Comicave action figure ever bought, ever collected, ever reviewed, so I am pretty excited to see what they're all about. A lot of people are huge fans of this. It's just a very expensive line to collect. Very pricey. This figure normally retails for $150 to $180, and it's a 6-inch scale figure. It's insane. I would never pay that much for a figure of this size. You know, that I don't know. I just couldn't really justify that. I know it's a bigger figure and this is 75% die cast, but I don't know. Maybe not. I haven't really looked at the figure out of the box, so maybe I'm just talking crap. But so far I'm pretty excited. I got it off of Amazon for $99.99. Very cool deal. Probably the cheapest that I've seen it, so I jumped on it, and there's not a lot of Igor figures out there in 6-inch scale. This might be the only one, and I really don't see Figma or SH Figuarts making one anytime soon. So here's the side of the box. Here is the back. Just have Igor's back, I guess. Here's the other side again, and in the front actually opens up right here. It's held by a magnet, and you can see Mark 38 on the left flap, and then you have Igor on the inside. Look at that. Very cool. Let's go ahead and get this big guy out the package and see what we got. Alright, so there we have Igor out of the package. So this is Mark 38 for Iron Man. He debuted, and I think only came out in Iron Man 3 towards the end of the movie. And the first thing, of course, that you notice when you take him out is his weight, the heaviness, and he is cold to the touch because it's metal, and it looks very nice. I'm seriously overwhelmed with the amount of detail that they added on to this figure, and I think it looks fantastic. I'm not familiar with this company, with Comicave, but it looks like they know what they're doing in the detail sculpting and painting department. I don't know about articulation, because this figure I don't think is really meant for a lot of articulation, so he's very limited with what he could do. But overall, I think that's the best you could do with it, because I mean, this armor is not meant to be super articulated. Let's face it. It's not meant to be your typical Iron Man figure. So this armor is very hefty and very limited. But the detail and the sculpt work on the figure is a work of art. It just looks amazing. And he does have a light up chest piece and a light up face mask, and that it's very cool to fit into a 6-inch figure like this. Very excited for that. You would think he'd be kind of hard to stand, but he seems to hold balance. You can see him tilting back. You just gotta kind of mess with his legs and feet, and you can get him to stand. You see how he's always slouched over. That's pretty much how you're always gonna get him. You will never have him standing up straight. His legs don't straighten out, and his back doesn't straighten out either. He's always gonna be slouched over like that. That's just how the armor is. Before we get into any more of Igor's, let's look at his accessories, and it's only gonna be extra hands. And what we have is, of course, the 2 fists on the figure, and then we have these hands right here. You can see how nicely painted they are. So these hands are like to kind of grab something, it looks like it. So there's that, and then here's the other hand, so left and right. So they did a pretty cool job on this. So Igor comes with another pair of hands, and these are my favorite because these are actually articulated hands. And despite the fact that we got 2 molded hands, so we got a molded fist, then a molded gripping hand right here, we have this one that's also making a fist, but each finger is individually articulated, and that's awesome. It's crazy how they included this, even though they had molded hands already. So you can see, you can open it wide open like that, or you can make it into a fist like it was already. So very cool that you have the option to have an articulated hand and molded hands. I just think it's cool that they just added on, because all they could have done is just give us these and that's it. But they didn't. They ended up giving us some molded hands as well, so that's cool with me, and I like that. They're all nicely detailed too. Very cool, and I'm liking the little rust details they put on the knuckles. That's a very nice, cool detail they did there. A little bit of on the edges too. You could see some stains and rust. That's so cool. And speaking of detail, let's take a look, or a closer look, at Igor's face, and you can see more of that rust looking detail paint on his armor. Just very cool how they added on that. It's not too much and it's not too little. I think it's just right. And they added on everywhere, even his shoulders, you can see there. Up in his torso, looking at his arm, look at that. That is just awesome. I love all that. U.S. Army 52, whatever. All these little numbers and letters and all that just gives it all that more realistic look to it. Look at this forearm right here. That looks great. And that carries on to this side as well. You can see that right there on his forearm, all the way to the inside. Even on his, under his neck, his torso. Let's see if we can focus on that. It says caution. Everything's clearly printed on there. I just think it looks amazing. And then going on to the back, look at his shoulder. Behind his shoulder, his back is just phenomenal. I mean, I literally overwhelmed with the attention to detail and paint on this figure. It's beautiful. Seriously, it's a work of art, and it's so this is almost like Hot Toys quality, but 6-inch style. I'm really happy with this figure. It's just beautiful. It's really nice figure overall. Now you've seen the figure up close, and the details in the paint, all that is just 100% A+ for me. Love it. But let's go on to the articulation, and of course it's going to be very weird, but let's go through it together here. So we have the head. Let's get a little bit more focused. The head can move left as it clicks like crazy, left and right, but super clicky, and I do not like that. I hate clicky joints like that. It's just stupid to me. It can move up without clicks and move down without clicks, but it doesn't really look more down than that. He pretty much just looks straightforward. Going over to the shoulder, these are actually on some sort of spring, and then this outer piece is a separate piece than the lower piece, so it moves around, and that's just so cool. I love little details like that. Very cool. The arms can go forward and back, so in and out like that, and that's beautiful. You can extend the arm completely out without any hindering, thanks to that shoulder pad on a spring there. He does have a bicep swivel as well. Going on to the arm, it can only get straightened out that much. You can't really straighten out completely 180 degrees. You can bend it about 90 degrees. And then on his elbow, we have this cool little elbow piece that moves up and down, so you can kind of hide the articulation there. It makes it look a little bit more natural there. Going down to the hands, they seem to be on ball joints, so they move just like any ball joints would, so you can bend them down, almost hinge them. They have lots of movement, they swivel. Very cool movement on that. Very good movement on that hand right there. Also, there is this little piece on the bottom which extends out like that, and then you can stretch it out about that much, or actually it goes a little bit more, so you can do that deal. And it's just a little thing he uses to stop himself on the floor. Very cool that that piece is there, and then you can just slide it right back and hide it underneath his arm. And that goes for both arms. As for his torso, we have a bit of a diaphragm joint. He does extend up about that much and goes down about that much. So not a lot of movement. He swivels at his waist, it seems like to me. And he kind of tilts around like that. Going on to the legs, seems like his groin area is a separate piece. The legs go forward about this much. They're always bent, so they're never straight. So they go forward about that much, and then they go back this much. It goes in and out, not a lot, but you can see right there how much it goes in and out. They don't drop down. This is not SH Figure Arts. The knees, they don't straighten out like I said, so that's about how much it goes straight, and then you can bend it about 90 degrees right there, and you can see that, how that extends. The ankles go forward and back, just like that. They do ankle pivot, and it seems like they do not swivel. They swivel just a little bit right there, you can see that. And it does have some toe articulation. I was actually mistaken about the legs. They do slide down and up like SH Figure Arts. I guess I couldn't see that the first time around, but alrighty. So before I conclude this review on the Igor Comicave action figure, we're gonna look at the lighting feature of the figure. I can turn the arc reactor on his chest, and I can light up his eyes. So we have a switch on the back that turn on the chest. So here it is. So you can see that lights up his chest. Now it's gonna be a little tricky to turn on his face mask. They made it so easy to turn on his chest piece, but his face mask is a little bit harder to get to. Just so you guys know where it's at, there's a switch on his back that's very small. So it's not really ugly. It's not like a little gimmick or nothing. So you can see the little black switch there. It's not hidden, but it's also not that noticeable either. So I flipped it up, it turned it off. Anyways, to get to the head, you have to pop off the head Holy crap, guys, this seriously may have ruined the figure for me. My goodness. So his head's meant to come off. It's in the instructions. I mean, it got to the point where I had to read this. The head wouldn't come off. It is so tight. I mean, it's so in there. And look, there's the ball joint. It's so in there. Oh my god. I pulled and pulled. I swear. I was like, you know what? If it breaks, I'm going to return it to Amazon and get another one. I was like, I'm taking this head off. And it finally came off after I twisted and pulled like crazy. My hands are hurting. And it's just insane how we have to go through that. But anyways, it seems like the neck joint separated and a piece came off. But it doesn't seem like it's broken. I think it just connects right back in. But you can see this is the ball jointed neck and how super tight it is. It's insane. It's seriously insane how it's that tight. There he is with all his lights lit up. So it's cool. Overall, despite the hassle it was to turn on the eyes, it's still a very cool and very awesome looking outcome once you have them both on, and it looks awesome and amazing, and it's very nice, of course, despite all that crap that just happened. And real quick, here's a little size comparison next to the SH Figuarts Tony Stark figure, and I'd say it's pretty good scale. Honestly, in my opinion, I think you could fit a person in there, and I think this figure seems to be in that scale to fit in there. So very cool. I think this is going to look very nice with your SH Figuarts or Marvel Legends figures. That concludes my review on the Comicave action figure of Mark 38 Iron Man Igor. Very nice figure, seriously. I think the articulation is the best that I can get for this armor. Everything else is just phenomenal. The paint, the sculpt, everything. But other than that, he looks cool, especially with the eyes lit up. It's just a hassle just to turn that stupid light on his head. Very, very hard, and it's stupid that we have to go through that, especially for the price of the figure. But if you can ignore that, everything else is great, and for $99, I think it's well worth it, especially how much he normally retails for. So with that said, hope you guys enjoyed the review. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you guys would like, and you guys have a great day. Bye.
That's crispy.